At first, you may think it's an invasion straight out of Stranger Things, but no, it's actually an invasive vine that can take over native Florida plants. And Dr. Whitney Elmore is back to explain the air potato vine, and that's what we're talking about in today's Rooted in Florida. How you doing, Dr. Elmore?
I'm good. It's good to be here again. Thanks.
Good. I can't wait to get educated by you because
well, luckily it's not a Demogorgon like in Stranger Things,
Yes,
but if you had this on your property, you might see it that way. It is an incredibly invasive vine, the air potato vine. It's been here for many, many, many decades, and it is known to grow very quickly, several inches in a day, and take over native landscapes, can crawl up the ladder up into trees and do a lot of damage, displacing our native habitats.
So it can pretty much grow anywhere then?
Absolutely. It loves our poor soils, basically, that we have. It loves every bit of it, yeah.
Wow. So it was interesting, you were telling me that with these plants, they're actually, parts of them are somewhat pretty, dare I say, and that's where the problem came in.
Absolutely. And, you know, a long time ago, and various plants have been brought in for various reasons, but you know, some of these types of plants, if you notice this one, it's got this big cordate or heart-shaped kind of glossy leaf, and it's really pretty. And because it grows very fast and because it's very easy to grow, at one time we thought, oh, this will make for a really nice hedge or, you know, kind of a cover up a trellis or something. Little did we know, many, many, many years ago, this could actually become invasive and take over our native landscapes.
This would be something I would say, oh, look, Roxanne, you finally got something to grow.
Yeah.
No.
And it's easy to grow. And one of the reasons it's so easy to grow is it will produce these things called bulbils. And you can see these here, and they can be massive.
And these will be underground.
They can be underground or they can be aerial.
Oh, really?
There'll be some small ones produced from an aerial standpoint. The problem is if we hit these with a lawnmower or we just throw these out in the yard somewhere, everywhere a little piece of that hits, we're going to get a new plant.
Wow.
Potentially.
Okay,
so out of this small bulbil that we see here, I brought this one where you can see all the vegetative growth coming out of it. So it kind of reminds you of a potato, even though they're not really related. It reminds you of how they might grow very quickly and easily. But at the same time, this helps us in some regards when it comes to control. And control of this plant is possible. Now, when I say control, I don't mean eradication, okay? But control, suppressing it so it's not doing nearly as much environmental damage is very possible.
Is that how we do it?
So an integrated approach involves the use of chemicals, herbicides, to help control it, the use of mechanical or cultural techniques, meaning removing these out of the landscape, tying them up in a trash bag and throwing them away, but also the use of the air potato beetle.
Now, you didn't bring any of those with you today.
I wish I could.
I heard you say something about a bug earlier.
Yes, they are prolific in the landscape, and there's a nice little picture of him that I took there. They're kind of hard to find. I promise they are there, okay? These were released by the Florida Department of Agriculture and Consumer Sciences in conjunction with UF. They did extensive starvation studies and found that it will only eat this plant. Nothing else.
Really?
So it can't do any sort of harm whatsoever, but it's incredibly,
air potato beetles.
Incredibly effective biological control, and you can see what it does to the plant. Over time, with the beetle damage combined with the mechanical and cultural removal of the bulbils, and maybe even the use of herbicides from time to time, we can start to suppress this plant.
Control it and suppress it. So, Dr. Elmore, if you see these pop up on your property, what's your approach? What's your step you take?
Actually, an integrated approach. Number one, the beetles will show up.
Okay, because they come on their own.
Yes, they will show up eventually. And you might not see them because when we get close, they do this funny little thing, they drop off the plant. And you hardly won't ever see them.
But you'll see the result.
But you will see the results, especially in the sunny areas. They really like to feed in the sunnier areas. And this is telling you they're definitely there if you have any sort of feeding damage. But then the use of some, if it is necessary, some herbicides. They tend to be non-selective, which means when you're spraying with this, you might be hitting your non-target plants as well because they grow in the same place. But definitely the removal of those bulbils whenever possible.
You said just the environment in general is what they love here in Florida, but is there any particular plant that you say, okay, they're going to go after that one? If anything is fair game?
No, anything's fair game. These will be growing in pretty much any area you can think of, especially kind of the undisturbed areas, you know, fence rows along roadsides, they're going to pop up.
Well, thank you so much. I learned so much today. Thank you, Dr. Elmore.
Thank you.